Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we're bringing you a preview, overview, our first kind of impressions of Rivet Wars Reloaded by Steamforged Games, which is a re-implementation of the classic game Rivet Wars with a few more developments, a few more design options, brought back to Kickstarter and coming to you in the market one day soon. Links, by the way, down below. They're already doing fantastic, so I don't really need to direct you over in that way, but if this is a game that you're interested in, they're only doing a 9-day campaign.
Yeah.
There's only like 6 days left. You don't have much time to decide whether or not you want to play this. Now, for those of you that are aficionados of the Quackalope channel, we have a full gameplay of this over on the channel. We're not going to spoil what happens over there, but just for your context, we have a sponsored gameplay, and this additional video is completely on our own because we wanted a chance to talk about it. We wanted to give you an overview of what this game is. Shira, what is Rivet Wars?
Rivet Wars is a skirmish game where you are fighting against an opponent and trying to decimate them off the board. There's going to be different scenarios, and each scenario will kind of have a couple different rules. But in the scenario that we played, it was kind of king of the hill over these areas with stars, and then trying to accomplish all these missions at the bottom of the board. You were going to be taking turns by drawing action cards and then deploying troops, then combat turn, which is attacking everything that you can reach, and then moving your troops and setting up for the next round and trying to get into the best defensive, offensive position that you can get into.
Some of the coolest things about Rivet Wars so far in my experience have been not only the build of the skirmish side. It really does feel like a quick little tactical war game that still is a little fun, a little punchy, and based off the scenario that you're playing, can actually be really quick to play. We were able to table our first game in like 30 minutes, second one in about 45. So this is not a overwhelming game. And even on TTS, I think it was like an hour max before I'd secured a solid victory against the designers and developers themselves, or the publishers at least themselves. Another thing that I think is really neat so far about Rivet Wars is the amount of little units you have and how simple it is to actually read and diagnose what each one is doing, how they're affecting or implementing their own unique abilities into the game state, and how you can hopefully match them up well against your opponent and take advantage of or disadvantage some of the other skill sets that your opponent has, because each team is completely asymmetric.
Yeah, it kind of feels like you're drafting an army, where you're choosing your troops for their specific talents, and you know that you're fighting up against a gruesome foe, and you know that you're going to put this player in at this point, and this player in at this point, because they have the best skills to take down your opponent and lead to a crushing victory.
It kind of feels like you're fighting an army, where you send people into the trenches and slowly watch them get mowed down as you heartlessly stare off into oblivion.
And then you keep just sending more and more. You're like, keep going, keep pushing the lines.
Pushing them towards that bunker.
It was very
Because for some
realistic
reason, that bunker right there, I really need. Desperately.
Yeah.
Desperately. The flow of the game is really straightforward and really simple. At the very start, like you said, you're going to start getting your resources. So you're going to get a rivet, which is a token that can be spent on some of your more advanced units. You're going to get an action card, and these action cards are actually a lot of fun.
They are huge twists, plot twists to the game, where during different phases of the game, they'll take effect and allow you to make additional attacks, take additional movements, put down different tokens on the board that could be traps and barbed wires.
Death from above lets you drop on top of another squad and blow them out, so like push them off of the zone you're in and then just start firing a machine gun into...
Don't underestimate those action cards, because kept in hand for the right time, they are game-changing, literally.
Yeah, so you'll get an action card, a rivet token, and your troop deployment resource, which is typically 5, depending on the scenario that you're playing. You'll then start deploying your troops, and just so you have a sense of the type of units that I have over here on my board, I have a little rocket launcher unit, which is a Panzerfaust, really good at taking down cavalry, but not as good at fighting everything else. I have a mono-wheel dragoon. These are my people with a sword, for some reason still fighting with a giant...
and a wheel.
Yes, it's awesome. It's so badass.
That's your cavalry. They're riding a wheel.
They're riding a wheel across the battlefield with a sword stuck out beside. They're amazing, but they're really only good at mowing down Shira's troops, which are the ones that are scoring her points.
You need someone to mow down my troops.
I have a Dare Cyclops, which is actually going to be a unit that attaches, I can show you here, to the top of one of my large mechs, one of my tank-like units. This is going to be just a high-powered machine gun that gives me some extra actions for that specific unit. I have a MG08 Slitchin. This is going to be my machine gun unit, which is just absolutely terrifying because it can rake the battlefield. It's not very defensive, but it can rip things apart. I have a Lankenschreider, which is going to be the giant ridden mech. And then I have my 2 heroes. I have General Beckendorf, who is kind of adorable.
Did he see battle?
He did not see battle at all. Kind of adorable. He adds range to whoever he's used on, and again, he is going to be one of these little riding units. So I pop off the squad, I stick him down into the helmet, and suddenly this riding mech has farther range because he can see and he can say, "Fight them, shoot them out to the sky," something like that. And then I have Jaeger Muldenstein. He is a sniper who can snipe off no one really except all of your little minions. But your minions are the ones that are scoring points, and he actually has a total of 2 variable attacks, rolling 3 dice each against each one of your little people.
Okay.
So I can slam into the
He's also a little bit more
army.
durable. He's got 2 health.
And over on Kickstarter, they've actually added a 3rd faction.
It's green.
And a lot of other little mechs and units and things that you can do to mix up the gameplay style
There's
itself.
Air Force. Yeah. I really had a good time with this. I like how it is not just a battle that you're just rolling dice. It's not just dice rolling. There's also tactical strategic movement and deployment because you have these missions that you're trying to succeed at. And let's say you're not doing really well at holding down these King of the Castle, these forts, then you can try going for these missions, which are place your 5 different troops in 5 different areas, or kill 3 or more units in a single turn, or move a unit into a square in enemy territory. So there's different ways where you can be maneuvering around the board, and it's not just your luck of rolling dice.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we already let them know. We have a gameplay over on the main channel. This is an extra video, but that video is sponsored, so take it as you will. Best and worst, high and low, reason to back, reason not to back.
Reason to back, I really like the variability each side felt. My units were completely different than your units. Your units specialized in taking out different ones of mine, and they just felt different. And the ease of reading the cards, the deployment value, the movement value, their defense, their health, all of it.
It's actually fairly complicated, but easy to digest.
Easy enough to digest in a simple look, and I can read your cards and interpret that. I like the individual feel of my unit, and I knew which units I had to send out where. That's the best. The worst, there's a lot of dice rolling, and you can have some really bad dice rolls, and
it's a skirmish game.
It's a skirmish game. And so if those aren't for you, then this might not be right for you.
Best for me. The best for me, I hate to echo your own points.
But I just said them all perfectly?
Almost. So for me, I think there's going to be 2 best things. First off, I love the mech and the art style and the aesthetic of this game. I really do. From my side of things, this will be an easier game to table and play because of the approach that it's taking. Because of the almost chibi-like, you referenced Minions.
Yeah.
But
the Rise of Guru is on my mind.
Almost chibi-like style and aesthetic. I love how it plays on the table. I love the steampunk aesthetic. I love the artwork. I like everything that's happening here. And the miniatures are fantastic. But stepping away from the art style, when I talk about the actual mechanics of the game, I like that this is a really fast-paced skirmish game. And it's not a skirmish game that's built around the idea of one big mech going against another big mech, right? It's not just ripping apart. I like... One of the problems I have with skirmish games is oftentimes I feel like it's just point salad. It's just absorbing as much damage as possible with a bunch of hectic dice rolls until you figure out who takes out the other enemy. Here, there's an ebb and a flow to the map that feels like a tactical battle. You feel the waves coming and going. You score points. There's always something that you're getting and giving as the game continues to play. I'll score victory points. I'll accomplish an objective. I'll take out 3 units. And then the next turn, I'll get ripped apart. But I'm able to come back. I'll get the right action card. I'll be able to play the right unit. And I like that when it comes to the game's implementation. The worst for me. Dice rolling is always going to be one of those caveats.
Yeah.
It just is there. If you're playing a game that's an Ameri-style game, there's the chance that you run into bad dice. And bad dice can make things unbalanced. However, they can also make some of the best moments in a game. Like when you drop down into a center of an armed force and roll the perfect hit and take out 7 of them, I'm sorry, you don't get that in a Euro.
The luck is for you and the luck is against you.
It's both. It's both, and you have to know if you like that. I would honestly say, for me, it's kind of going to be set up. That would be the biggest barrier to me actually tabling the game.
the different pieces.
It takes a little bit of time to get the tiles out onto the table. I have to go through what my squad is going to be and how I actually want to deploy them. I have to learn my cards, and each one has their own special abilities. I need to kind of have an understanding of your troops as well. I need to know as you play what your defense unit is going to be, what their special ability is going to be, what their range is going to be, and all of that little micro detail that goes into making the game so good also might be a limiting factor to me wanting to teach someone or me wanting to actually get this game back down to the table.
I think it was a little annoying that I couldn't remember the defense value of each troop and having to ask you constantly, like, oh, the defense value of this little one is 1, the defense value... I almost wish like they could be printed on their plates, like they're a little like shield.
It wouldn't look as good then.
It wouldn't look as good, but it would make it more accessible, I think.
Maybe. But no, I wouldn't have it printed on the plate, personally. Because people use miniatures for a variety of things. Like, people might get these miniatures, and they might use these miniatures for an actual, like, combat scene, an art piece. And if you printed, like, information on them or something, then you'd have to, like, cover them up, sand them off. It'd be very annoying. All that being said, that's kind of my high and low. I think this is a super compelling Kickstarter, but again, I don't know that I need to tell people that.
Yeah.
Like, tons of people are already backing this.
Already fully funded.
It's already doing extremely well.
I like their new faction that they have out, and there's going to be Air Force. We just played with ground units this time.
Yeah.
I like the options that they have. And, like, all these things and tokens are going to be physical components that you can upgrade and deluxify, so.
So there you have it. There's some opinions. There's some coverage of Rivet Wars.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.